Yeah, and then we see how we can apply them into our day-to-day life in regards to what? In regards to our social. Okay? So, first of all, the number one aspect that I would like to start with is the religious aspect. Religious aspect, according to the change of in what? In our social, and in change of what? In change of our body, the way the body changes with time. You know what I mean? And then later on we'll come to our education, and then we relate it with our body, and then relate it with God again, and then we come to what? To our political formation, and then we relate it with our body again, and then we relate it with God. Those are our natural what? Our natural societal symbols. So number one, religious. So religiously, we are all, as we have Christians, we have other we have different religions. We have Christians, we have not those who are not Christians. We have Muslims, we have Hindus, we have all those. So all these have been evolving with time. All these people have been evolving religious wise with time. There have been there have been those formal religion institutions, and then there came the informal, the contemporary one, the contemporary formation of religion came, and then with time, they have been changing, and the method and ways of passing the word of God have also been changing in terms of what? In terms of change in time. The content, I would like to tell you, is the same. The content is the same, but then the structuring of it, is it being structured in the best way, or are people change? Because if God is nature, you see, and word of God is part and parcel of us. We are nature. Human beings, we are nature. And I would like to say animals also are part of nature, just the same as the trees and all that. You get what I mean? So what I'm saying is that if you like to learn our nature, then we would like to look into our social. Everything that we see in our nature part, then we can see them also in our social surrounding. So let's look at these changes. Religious aspect. We have God. What represent God? God is in. If we want to imagine of God, if we talk of God, then we can actually see what? We can see God in spirit. In spirit, we talk God. God is in spirit. You get? We cannot see what? We cannot see God with our naked eyes. We got to be in spirit, because even if we have to understand our social and see His energies on our social, then again we have to also think what? We have to think in the spirit. There is a video I mentioned. Real civilization will only happen when everything we do is directed in a spiritual direction. Now we are going there. Now we are getting in. I'm excited. My name is Oduoro Nyango, and welcome to D.T.M, Decoding the Mindset. We are looking into some of our natural societal symbols, and we have started with the religious aspect. We have looked at some of symbols that we have said are different formation of church. We have said we started the formal, e.g., we have the Catholic and all that, the rest, the formal institution, and then there came the contemporary ones, according to each and every person's understanding, according to change in era and time. You know, we must explain God to serve us equally, and in His full six opulences. He should appear to us in His full six opulences in all generations. In all generations. So let's see how seeing God through our social structure has changed in generations. You get what I mean? We start with who? God. We imagine of God in spirit. during creation, God created us through his breath. He breathed into us. He breathed into us breath of life. And then eventually he had created, before he had created man's body, and then he breathed into man's nostrils. And then man became a living being. Then man became a living being. You see, now the Spirit of the Lord was in us, or rather is in us, for us to become who? To become alive. So if you're alive, then there's a spirit in your body. Spirit whose spirit? God's spirit. You get what I mean? You are part and parcel of God. That is why I said, qualitatively, we are like God. Quantitatively, we are very small particles. We are just particles of God. Okay? Let's look at this. So, that is religious aspect. That is, we have seen God in spirit, how he transformed his image and his likeness to creating man. Then man became a living being. And then we came into this nature, into this world as part of nature. You get what I mean? And then now we look into our social. Into our social. We were created only, man. We have human being and animal. Human being is the best version of animal. You get what I mean? Human being is the best version of an animal. And according to laws of nature, we have what? We have death somewhere. Laws of nature. When you're given birth to, you're born to growth and development. And then, in one way or the other, diseases somewhere, old age, and then death. So, when human beings die, I'm trying to explain these things according to different understanding of knowledge, okay? According to different understanding of knowledge. So there is transformation of God's spirit entering into man, and then man becoming alive, and then we find ourselves, we are given birth to, and then we find ourselves in our social surrounding. And then in our social surrounding, then because we are qualitatively in likeness with God, we have knowledge and power to create things that have to favor us in relation to what we want to do and in our day-to-day life, what? Dealings. So let's look. In change of time, we have said, we have different hierarchical structure of our social structure. And then we said, one, we have what? Intelligent men. So we see, as time changes, there have been things that have changed. How best can we find God's image in our social surrounding? You see? And I said, information is one of the ways that we can find what? We can find the understanding of God. And I said information or knowledge is conveyed in 3 styles. 1, sublime. 2, intermediate. 3, we have the low style of knowledge. Okay? My name is Eduardo Nyango, and welcome to this channel, Decoding the Mindset. That is the religious aspect of it. We have said, if we want to see how knowledge is passed, there are 3 forms, okay? So let's see. If we want to try to equate this, spirit to man, and then the low class of it is animal. Animals do not have the brain. That is why we are special beings as human beings. We have the authority that gave us somewhat, that gave us some law in us, some software that was put in us, a way of thinking that an animal do not have. So an animal is the lowest, is a lower being of us. They are under us as human beings, okay? So that there was that change. There was that change of what? Of spirit, human, animal. But then, do we die? What does death mean to us? Spirits do not die. Therefore, if you're a spirit, there must be an advancement that of somewhere else, of another realm. You get what I mean? There must be an advancement of another realm. That is what I said. In religion, some refer to it as resurrection, some refer to it as reincarnation. Philosophically, some refer to it as graduation. Metaphysically, some refer to it as change in what? Change in metaphysics. You know? And there is another group that call it control of symbols. You see, there is different ways that all this was controlled as time changes. So we have reached to a human being. And then when man dies, there is another transformation of what? Of spirit. But then we need to learn, is there a qualification? Is it automatic that if someone dies, actually, all human beings transform to the same state? Or there is a change of state according to the knowledge that you had? Even during your death and life have to be combined. There must be a relation. There must be a relation. If we have to learn our social structure and relate it with our inside and with even our spirit and God. It can tell us then what or how it could look like after death. You get what I mean? So let's look into it. Another aspect I would like to look into, philosophical. Since this is an educative content, yes, I said, I would like to look at the schools. You get? Schools. How information is conveyed. You know? Is it body, soul, and mind? Is it in three? Knowledge? Is it sublime, intermediate, and in low? How is this information being conveyed? It has to be conveyed in both, according to the change in our social structure and era, and change in time. Okay? So let's see how time has changed, philosophically and in education, in the way that information is being conveyed. Number one, kitambo, we had the mechanical part of it, you know, or person to person. There was person to person, you know, this and that. We only had to meet so that you could be talked to. We had the primitive ways of conveying information, you see. Number two, as time changes, we have also been experiencing what? There has been change in use of papers, magazines, and books. You know, information has been conveyed in that line, magazines and books, as time changes. And now, thank God, in this era, we have what? Technology. As time has changed, there is technology and the sublime part of it. We have to check the sublime part of it, because knowledge is conveyed in three modes: sublime, intermediate, and the lowly. So we are interested in this part of the brain. The reason why I have this board here now, we have reached at this, is for us to identify the structure of our brain in relation to this societal formation that we are looking into. You know, what part of our brain is, what part of our body is the informative part, the brain. In this conjunction to this game, I said the software of our brain starts from where? Starts from here, from the bishop. This is this is the brain part of our body. If this whole board has to represent what? Has to represent our body. So this is the part of what? This is the brain part of our body. Okay? So, I feel there is need for, you know, even to our educators, our nowadays educators, there is need just not to depend on, you know, person to person method of conveying message, you know, because it limits us. It limits us in a way that we are limited of reaching people or different people or conveying our knowledge, and at the same time feel that ease because we're earning and teaching through. So we need to look into different modes and mediums that we need to use in conveying message. So as time changes, I have said we have used books, and we have used person to person, and then there have been books and magazines, the paper part, and then we have used what? And then we have used uh, the technology part of it. So the technology part of it, we have internet now. We have internet now. Internet, I said, it can be equated to our brain when we come to social. The internet equates to our brain because it is the informative part of it, and it is huru. Ni huru. Uzuri wake, it is unlimited. We are just looking into aspects that are unlimited so that we don't feel limited with these aspects that we have got used to acquiring knowledge from, you know, because God is omnipresent. Therefore, we are just learning how to recognize God in our day-to-day lives as time changes. And we see how time changes and favors us to be better beings. It said it's a golden era. It's a golden era. And the Gen Z era is the golden era. An era where, you know, you just need to be sharp and have a few here and this. And if you have information you can pass and you can share with, and you can reach millions of people. You get? The another part that I would like to look into is the metaphysics. I have said metaphysics has changed, and we have just looked at the technology part of it and the internet. But then going back, there was mechanical, there was industrial, and then now we have the technology part of it. You see, the technology part of it. So we need to see how things change and how to change with things, how change. My name is Eduardo Nyango, and welcome to D.T.M, Decoding the Mindset. If you're watching us for the first time, please feel free to like, comment, compliment this content so that it could reach millions and millions of other people. This is an educative content. Till next time, adios.